What's going on, everybody? Happy New Year, man. It's your man of the hour. It's your boy Big D, and welcome back to the channel. So check this out, man. I'm gonna start this video the way I ended the last one, right? With positivity, all negativity got to go. I got a good topic right now, and it's one to be discussed shortly. Make sure you guys tap into the G Lou show tonight as we will continue to drop and talk about this topic, man. Police brutality. So let's dive right into it. All right, man. I thought it was very important, man, me and Pops, to discuss, the brutality and the way that departments all over the states, have been conducting themselves as far as, the mischief and not just for as a recent, but as, throughout the years, to tell you the truth, man. Police brutality, it's real. There's a lot of cops or sheriff departments or any kind of departments, to tell you the truth, man, that have they have a way of misconducting themselves and representing themselves, not only themselves, but the cities and the departments that they represent. There should never be no police brutality, to tell you the truth, man. It's a misconduct. It's a way of, treating, law-abiding citizens. And for whatever reason, it's happening, and it still happens to this day. So like I said, so I just thought I'd just drop a little spill on it and get us warmed up for later on, right? So, I myself has, seen and been a victim of police brutality, to tell you the truth. And not to say it was acceptable, because, I am a reform or a change man, but back then, I was a part in the streets and part of the neighborhood, the barrio, and just doing misconductive things myself in the neighborhood. So with that kind of mischief comes, bad brutality, policing, to tell you the truth. And like I said, me myself, I experienced it, right? And it ain't no fun, man. When these guys, have every right to come in and try to violate all your rights that we have, right? So, but if you're misconducting yourself in the streets or wherever you're at, these people have a job to do. These ladies and gentlemen that, that are in the departments and, support and work for, the city and try to, handle the situations or whatever calls they're required to. So, like I said, does it mean that they do their policing right? No, it doesn't. I couldn't even believe in the last couple years that over 1,000 people have been victim of police brutality, and even in the shape of form of death. And we've seen it, right? I mean, everything to me starts off on Rodney King, man, back in the days, man. I remember that. And, once filming came out, man, cameraing and, everybody recording, it just took off from there, right? And like I said, it's sad to say that I have to use Rodney King as an example, but I'm just telling you the truth and keeping it real. And that's one thing that I remember, man, was just Rodney King, as we seen it back in the days, man, where the brutality was, pretty, it was very sad to see. It was not right, and the mishandling of the policing of the LA Police Department, was wrong. And unfortunately, Rodney King took a bad beating from it and was never the same from that. I don't think if you get a beating that severe and that, you know, shape or form was, man, I mean, I'm surprised he even lived. But throughout the years, man, people have been, now people are dying, man. The police department, the way they do their aggressive show calls, put your knees on your back. They don't care if they don't even know if you have some kind of, let's just say, like, medical situation or whatever. You could have torn ligaments, broken bones, a bad something, right? And the way these police, man, they don't care, man. But that's kind of like, what I mean, where, it weighs itself out, in and out, right? If you're in a high-speed chase and, the cops catch you, man, you can't expect the cops to, get you out of the car and give you the red carpet, right? I mean, for one, that's what the cops are looking for. They're looking for any reason to do any kind of hostility, brutality on you, right? An excessive force, man. These cops, they get excited. Let me tell you. I've been in the local station, man, where I'm getting detained and processing, and you hear it over the mic, and these guys get excited. When they hear there's a high speed chase, like I said, I seen it, man. They get that call and they're gone. I mean, all 50 officers that are in that police station gone. They'll probably leave the bailer, maybe a guard or two. You know what I'm saying? But throughout that, man, these guys are out the chase, they're out the hunt. They get excited, they get a rush, man. You know, they get some kind of feeling when they got to go out there. I don't know if it's cops or robbers, blood in them, or, you know, how they take their job too seriously. To me, it's too seriously, because before you go into a situation, there has to be a little bit proper training, right? You got to know not every call is a gang member call, domestic violence call. There's a lot of calls now as of recently where it has to do with psychologically, you know? You don't know what kind of environment that you're entering, you know, where a man and a female could be arguing domestic violence or drugs, that, you know, I mean, the people are, you know, whacked out, you know, and they're just not in their right mind. So, you know, these cops, they enter, you know, they want to enter the room with force and violence, you know, and, you know, people not in their right mind, you know, they're not always going to give you that kind of, okay, that they're not going to give you that freedom of invitation, or like, oh, that clear indication, like, hey, everything's all good, because it's not. You know, so I think, you know, for one thing, police departments have to take, you know, consideration, man, that, you know, they have to train these officers, you know, in every city across America, to tell you the truth, because it's a darn shame to know that we are the top country that, you know, that have, you know, police brutality. And that's why, you know, we configure it, and we try to look at other parts of the world and see how they're conducting their policing and how they're handling their citizens. And for some places across the world, they don't even have police departments. When I went to Europe, it was very limited, because not everybody's in, I get it, not everybody's into theft, robbing, stealing, killing, gangs, you know, over here and so much over there. You know, there's not a lot of that in the other parts of the world. Some places, yeah, but that's more like terrorism. You know, that's more like war, third world country. And they're doing some, you know, that's where they do kidnappings and robberies and so forth, because their country's just straight poor. You know, in Japan, they don't have really any kind of policing over there. And I know there's certain other parts of the country where it's not even mandatory, you know, because I think the citizens have more of a say so than the departments do, the police departments. Now, I get it. We don't live in a perfect world, people. Let's just be honest, right? I myself committed crimes, and, you know, if you can't do the crime, you know, the time, then you don't do the crime. That's just basically what it is. But, you know, sometimes the way we're raised and the way the world is, sometimes, you know, theft and, you know, other kinds of you know, just violating, breaking the rules and the laws, you know, it's going to come with consequences. So, like I said, man, in between that time, sometimes you got to be expecting the brutality. You know, wherever there comes good, there comes bad. And I ain't saying it's an excuse, you know, but it's all where the money goes for, man. Who's accountable for you know, for these departments, you know? Is the city accountable, the state, you know, the government? I mean, it all comes from there, right? You know, the funding, you know, and then how they segregate, you know what I mean, the money, or distribute the money, where it goes to what department, police department, fire department, you know what I mean, probation department, and so forth. It's distributed, right? It's our tax-paying money. So, but, you know, I think there's a little bit more should be put on, you know, as far as, you know, police training, you know, psychologically dealing with people who are, you know, have mental situations. And I think it'll be a lot more, you know, easier. I can't believe it took all these years to have cameras, you know, body cams for the police department, because, you know, these police departments and these people, there's just regular people like me and you. Like I said, we pay for them, you know. I think it's very important also to, you know, learn your laws and your regulations within your state and within your city and so forth. I've been seeing a lot of, you know, videos where people go out, and even in the border, man, you know, they're coming across from Mexico, and they know their rights, man, and you see them on YouTube, and they challenge these guys, you know, and that's what it should be. You know, we should be challenging our local police departments and how far they could push themselves and what they can and can't do. That just makes a logical sense. But it starts off with, you know, educating yourself and knowing your rights, right? You know, Bob Marley said it perfect, man. Get up, stand up for your rights. You know, you got to stand up for your rights. And police brutality is not part of the equation. It's not, should be part of the system, you know, the human walk and the human life. Yeah, we should be policed and we should be governed, you know, because, you know, some people got to look over us and, you know, make sure that we're not violating or disturbing the other people that, you know, that we live with across next door, next city over, and just making sure that, you know, everybody's just doing their 9 to 5, man, being a law-abiding citizen. You raise your children, you know, you stay away from trouble and you stay away from problems, and you just try to live a good life like a house on the prairie. But, you know, we all know, you know, it don't work like that, man, especially if you're raised in the ghetto, especially if you're raised, you know, in a place where, you know, it's a poor community, middle class community, and so forth, man. And a lot of stuff, you know, that these people that are doing the policing, they kind of understand the situation where they're coming at. They kind of, some of these people, they come from, the rough and tough, backgrounds. They know how it is to struggle and to live off minimum, whether it's finances or food or whatever it is. So they're looking for that change, and they want to make an impact in the community. And that's pretty good. There's nothing wrong with that when you're trying to make a difference and a change within the community. But if you're one of those officers, or should I say deputy, when you're incarcerated, and you see things and they do things and you move a certain way, you're accountable for what, you're not part of the solution. You're part of the problem, because we hear it all the time, even in jail. Cops, they know how to set up inmates. They will do whatever they can. If they have a hate on you or a grudge on you for whatever reason, to me, I think psychologically, these cops should be evaluated like every year, every 6 months, to tell you the truth. I mean, if they're checking their guns and their radars and so forth and being expected, and they send them over to make sure that it's still working properly and necessarily, I think the human mind should be evaluated too, right? I mean, why, I'm always checking myself and making sure, like, man, should I do this? Should I not do that? That's just part of life, the do's and the don'ts of life, man, right? To get tempted. That's just the way it is, man. Back in the days, I didn't care if I was robbing, stealing, killing, whatever the situation was. It was just like, hey, until you get arrested and you find out there's consequences. And if like I said, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. But there's a lot of things that I want to talk about, like I said, that I'm not. Because, I want to make sure that you guys stay tuned and make sure you guys tap into the G Lou Show, and we'll get into some heavy topics. So this is just like a little brief, that I'm coming out and just talking about, the brutality that the police departments are displaying all over, the United States, and people are seeing and watching it, man. And like I said, to me, I'm just here to make a statement that it's unacceptable, regardless if, whatever the situation is, man. You shouldn't be choking out somebody, putting handcuffs behind their hat. You got like 4 or 5 cops, swinging on a, individual, pedestrian, it just looks bad. And I can imagine all the policing that's happened throughout the years, man, right? Throughout life, period, man. Who's governing them, who's policing them, how they're treating them. It's just like, can you imagine from way back then, back then they used to just off with your head, man, or stoned you, or whatever the situation was. Now they made a system where, you got to get judged, and you're innocent to proven guilty, man. That's just the way it is. It's policing in this part of the world, and we kind of demonstrated it to the rest of the world, and but it all comes down to one thing. And these are, like I said, these are the principles, man. Many guys know I'm a believer. I'm not trying to throw in too much, but the commandments, man. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, there's just so much, there's 10 of them that, that I think that this world, honestly, they use, right? They use and abide by these laws that were given back in, since, before Christ. So, and it's been governed, and we've been, policed by it. And, but, it's not God that's doing the bad policing, it's individuals, man. Some people get some kind of, power, or they get a badge, and, it just takes them to another level. I know how it is being a gangster, like, whoa, like, wow, now I'm a part of, this gang violence, situation. Now I got to go and make a name and do so forth. And I want to be recognized. So, you don't know if these guys, they get badged in and they got a freaking, stick up there, and they're trying to do a little bit too much. I seen it happen. There's hot head. If you see colors, if you guys remember, the older guy was telling, hey, it's not a race, man. You got to chill and relax, But no matter what, civilians should be getting the most proper respect, no matter what the situation is. There shouldn't be no tampering by police. There shouldn't be no misconduct by police. There shouldn't be no mistreating by police. And that's just the way it goes. That's why a lot of people, don't trust the police department. That's why a lot of people, they don't talk. The streets don't talk when it comes to policing. The police, they want to go and they try to say, wow, hey, it's the community don't want to get involved. They don't want to participate. Hold on real quick. Let me police my dog real quick. Penny, quiet. See what I mean? That's why we're here. We got to police our pets and our kids and our household first, within ourselves. But like I said, man, going back to what I was saying, there shouldn't be any kind of accusations and misconduct, misleading, misrepresentation, of our local police departments. I myself, do I trust the police departments around me? Raise your hand if you do. Raise your hand if you don't. I'm not raising my hand. You know what I'm saying? Would I give the police department the benefit of the doubt? Okay, not all police women or men are bad, but if you belong to a certain group, you think they're going to go tell on the other deputy so and so if he's doing any kind of misconduct, mistreating or so forth. Most likely they're going to keep their mouth shut, because that's a big arbitration right there, man. That's something that you could really get in trouble for, right? Police brutality should not be, hidden behind the walls, man. It should be recorded, or it should be documented. It should be not even allowed, to tell you the truth, but it happens anyways. So, with that comes problems, right? There comes no trust within the departments. We already seen it. Rampart Division, right? If you're from Los Angeles, people already know around the world probably, how Rampart was, misconducting stuff, hiring people to do this, hiring police departments to do that, certain ages this, it's just, it's all watered down. And so how can you trust a certain department? How can you trust the police department? How can you trust the sheriffs? You just can't. It seems like they're targeting, if you come from California, black, brown community, it seems like, since, we're the different race, color, it seems like we're always getting picked on, There's always stereotyping, right? Oh, he's brown, he's black, he's a gang member, he's a dope dealer, he's this, he's that, he's that. You can't be rolling down a Mercedes Benz with all kinds of jewelry without them thinking, in most cases, that you're some kind of, perpetrator, or some kind of, person that's just doing wrong activities when it comes to your community, and it's not even true. And that's pretty sad, because you can't roll around in a Mercedes, have a nice 5-bedroom out without the cops thinking of any kind of something, whatever they're thinking of. Myself, I was in Pico Rivera, sheriffs, people who are in that area, Southeast Los Angeles, they already know how the way they are in Pico Rivera, man, when it comes down to misconduct and mistreating people. One time I got pulled over, and I had $1,000 in an envelope I was taking to my brother-in-law. And when I got pulled over, the cops seen it. He's like, oh, you're a dope dealer, right? Oh, you're this, you're that. They try to fish and try to get you something. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's what causes people to get angry and upset, and, start wanting to be, start treating these people a certain way too, there's some just cops that are just hard up, man. A lot of them are rookies. You'll get a little bit, a benefit from a veteran out there. But, they're all there to do one thing, and to do their freaking job, dude. And that's, to arrest people who are breaking the law, right? Doesn't mean everybody they come across is breaking the law. Doesn't mean everybody that, calls the police or ask for their request, it's going to be handled in the right situation. I've seen situations, you call police and it goes bad. And then now, you don't, at first you want the police there, and then you don't, so, they're there to arbitrate, get information, use it against you, put evidence against you, and so forth, man. That's the way we know. So that's why, excuse me, a lot of communities, they don't participate, and they don't get involved with anything as a community, and then they blame us, right? The department blames, well, nobody wants to help out, nobody wants to participate, the local, community, get back, and, whatever happens and so forth, they're able to talk, or, provide some evidence of what's going on in the neighborhood. It don't work like that sometimes, some neighborhoods are not like that. So, it shouldn't be, to tell you the truth, shouldn't be given, it shouldn't be allowed. Police brutality, like I said, in the last couple of years, when all the shootings that's been taking place, seems like it's getting worse, sir. I don't know if it's worse, it's not even worse, it's getting worse. It shouldn't be like, it's like sometimes if I get pulled over by a cop, it's just, how are they going to act? How do you act with them? If there's nothing that should be wrong, you felt like there's any kind of violation, how are you going to treat it? Some people treat it in a different manner. It's starting to be more and more situations are occurring where people are learning their laws and are prohibiting themselves for being, arrested or taken advantage, because of the brutality and mentality of these police officers. So, there's a lot of cops and departments and cities that are giving bad names to a lot of cops across, the states. Not all cops are bad, but, I'm pretty sure they're trained not to be good either. They're there to do a job, just to hold up the law, and that's what they're there for. Now, I think there should be more, training, as we said. We shouldn't be defunding the police, because we do need police departments. And I wouldn't want to hear that, hey, my daughter got robbed because of this, because there was lack of police and so forth, or whatever, whatever the situation, stole the car or whatever. We do need some kind of enforcement. You know, human beings, period. We're not perfect. There's a lot of us that go through situations, millions of people in this country, and like I said, against thousands of police. So I mean, you do the math there. So I think sometimes it's overwhelming for guards who are they're in prisons or in jails, to do their job all the way to the streets, and so forth to the streets and to the system. So, like I said, it's just a quick, drop on what I think police brutality. There's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about. We'll talk about it later on tonight. Hopefully, you guys swing by the G. Lou show tonight, police brutality, and we'll talk a little bit more, and we'll tap in, man. So appreciate you guys, man. I just thought I'd just drop a quick one on here, and letting you know that I'm still keeping it real. All is good. I've been sick, real bad sickness, man, the last couple of weeks, and just barely third week getting over it, man. I caught it like the ending of the first week of January, or the second week, and then it just, transitionally just went through and caught me like in February, man. Last couple of weeks. But anyways, man, appreciate you guys, man. Like I said, I'm gonna leave the same way I came in, man. Make sure you guys are blessed, with all due respect. Appreciate you guys, man. The channel's still growing. There's a lot of stuff. I'm taking care of business right now. The spring's coming, summer's coming. We'll get some more light and more things to do, man. And I just want to give a highly appreciation to you guys who are still rocking with me, still rocking with G. Lou, man. And make sure you guys keep swinging by, man. Let everybody know we're doing our thing. And, I'll try to do a couple more lives, and we'll keep rocking, man. So with that being said, it's your man of the hour, your boy D. Check me out. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share it. If you like this video, leave some comments, man. Let me know what you guys think about police brutality, because every year it's getting crazier and crazier, man. So with that being said, appreciate you guys. Big D. Bah. I'm out.